All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Facts and Stats, the podcast. This is episode 114. First and foremost, do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And also tap into the Daily Sports Show Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And also on Sundays, that we preview all the NFL Sunday games. Today, we're going to talk about everything week 3, preview week 4 a little bit. I have Ari here with me. Then we're going to immediately jump into everything. Ari, what's going on? How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. What's up?
Excited to talk some week 3 NFL football?
Yeah, I'm always excited to talk football for the most part.
What would you say was your biggest surprise and or disappointments from week 3 then to kick it off?
I think the biggest surprise for me, at least, has to be like the Texans. Them being 0-3 is a surprise to me right now. I mean, granted, they had their offensive line concerns, like you saw that all last year, especially like at the end of last year. Like they had some really big offensive line concerns. Laramie, they let Laramie go, or I forget if they traded him or just let him go, but I'm almost positive it was a trade. They let Laramie go, who a lot of people would have said was their best offensive lineman or one of their best offensive linemen. And like it just hasn't gotten better. Like they fired Bobby Slowick last season at the end of last season, hired this new guy. Um, and I think people, especially when you look at their defense, who everyone thinks it's probably like either the best defensive unit in the league or like top three, the best defensive unit in the league, you would assume that, even with Joe Mixon being hurt, and not really starting the season, that like their offense would just look better, and it doesn't. It looks really bad. And that's from the O line. They don't really have much of a running game. But like CJ also has not looked good like himself. And if you look at their schedule, because what they played the Rams, then they played the Bucks.
Bugs. Yeah.
So two good teams, right? Two good NFC teams starting that off. Cool. But then you play the Jags, and you don't even look good versus the Jags
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
defense you have, a team that's also been having their own offensive struggles. You don't even look good. Then that's that's disappointing to me.
Yeah. Um, I agree. I made a TikTok video and a YouTube short on the Texans as that was, they were my personal biggest loser of this past week, to be honest. I have a different pick or whatever team that I can pick, but I'm gonna circle on that Texan point real quick. I mean, everything you said, I agree 1000%. You can't have the team that you have and having a quarterback in CJ Stroud who's trying to bounce back from, I guess people will say, his mediocre um, sophomore campaign after the rookie season that he had. Some call it one of the best that we ever seen, and I can definitely echo that for sure. But yeah, I mean, Houston Texans losing to the Jags and not looking great or even good against the Jags is a tremendous disappointment. For me, I think this team right here in this game from week 3 is a surprise and a disappointment. Like it goes hand in hand, to be honest. And it's the Atlanta Falcons losing to the Panthers 30-0. Like the not you laugh. The Atlanta Falcons was a team. I know a couple people. They're going to compete with the Bucks to win the division, and right, they probably still can. But as of right now, they're going to compete with the Bucks to win the division. They're going to be this. They're going to be that. They drafted 2 rookie guys up front on the D line. They drafted a couple of safeties. They're expected to be better this year. They start Michael Penix from game 1 on down, not coming in for Kirk Cousins. Granted, Kirk Cousins came in the other day because of the blowout, but yeah. So I think them losing to the Panthers and not being able to get inside the red zone, not being able to put any points on the board with Michael, with Bijan, with Drake, with Kyle, with Darnell Mooney. So super duper big disappointment for me, and it was a big surprise. That's just not the team that you lose to. The Panthers could have ended up being 0-3 in this one. And going against that team with Bryce Young and company, and shout out to Tet 2 and company, it's just not the game that you lose, especially at that. On top of that, 30-0. So definitely the biggest surprise / disappointment for me. Other than that, we had a couple of different good games from this past week 3 or this past Sunday, where there's a lot of obviously blocked field goals in the Los Angeles Rams and Eagles game, the Bucks and Jets game. Even the Browns being the Packers was actually. Would you say that was a surprise or a disappointment more hand in hand?
I mean, if you think of it like the Browns, the Browns defense is like really freaking good, especially their front. Like I don't think anybody can say that the Browns defense isn't good.
Yeah.
I think the issue for people, not me, who started speaking on her concerns with the Packers offense after week one, yeah, it's a surprise. It was like I think people would have said like, okay, they are going against Miles Garrett and like a really good defensive run and just like a good defensive unit as a whole in terms of just like the Browns defense as a whole. But I think people expected them to be able to do kind of what we saw the Ravens do
Mm.
last week, which was or week two, which was okay, you might struggle a little bit, might be a little bit tough a little bit at the beginning, first half or whatever. But by the time that third or fourth quarter kicked in, I think people thought that they would just be able to overcome it. So like eventually they would be able to wear the Browns defense down or like take advantage of the Browns defense or find or shoot, make Joe Flacco um turn over the ball or hurry him up and like have some really advantageous situations where they could take advantage of, where they could set their offense up to be in a really good position to go score and kind of like stretch the lead out. And they just didn't. They
But what I'm gonna- hey, we both got dogs. Milo
we
actually just
both
walked.
got dogs,
Yeah,
bro.
Milo just walked in here too. Go ahead, we
I'll
listening.
be for real.
Yeah.
Uh, Sadie, you for real? Bro, when I tell y'all
But you
shit
talking about
rude.
yeah. I don't know where you were on the game, but I would say one thing. I did think of that second half of that game. They were going to turn it around and ultimately take it and push it away. And Jordan Love made it through a bad interception. And they even
Yeah.
got a was it a was it a block kick in that game? Am I tripping?
Yeah, they blocked their kick at the end,
Yeah, they blocked that kick at the end, and they
and then they went and
got
kicked.
the field goal range and then got enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep the field goal. So yeah, that was that. Week 3 was one for the books for sure. I definitely can say that. I do want to ask you a personal question or a different question, not personal, but a different question. Obviously, people know that I'm a Ravens fan or Lamar Jackson. Well, Ravens fan, and I have the Lamar Jackson photo behind me. That was actually another big game from week 3. I think that game, as I saw tweeted today, had like 22 million viewers or something like that. The highest week 3 watched game ever. And I want to ask you, because I believe the Ravens were your Super Bowl pick to come out the AFC. Are you still confident in the Ravens after a 1-2 start? And then I'll get my thoughts after you express yours.
Am I still confident? I don't know, man. Like, I feel like it's too early to say no. It's like at the end of the day, it's only been 3 weeks. We're going into week four. Um, so I feel like it's a bit too early to just completely say no, despite what some people that we know might say about, how they feel like Lamar has played over these past 3 weeks. I don't think he's played bad. I think he's tried to do what he could. Um, did he have his best game versus the Lions necessarily? No. But like at the end of the day, like I still very much believe in Lamar Jackson. That defense, though. That defense concerns me in ways. And like I told you when we were talking about it on the show, by the way, Facts and Stats, daily sports show on Twitch, on YouTube, check it out. But when I told you on Monday when we were just talking about the recap, or was that Sunday? No, that was Tuesday. That was yesterday. Um, wow, it's been a week. But Tuesday, when I told you on the show, the thing that probably surprised me the most was the fact that like when we looked up y'all's red zone offense, y'all were 17th and y'all have a 57% conversion rate in the red zone. To me, that's not what I think about when I think of the Ravens. To me, that's not what I think about when I think of a team that has Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews and D Hop, who's been, having a bit of a resurgence. That's like not what I think about your offense. And I think that is a bit more, I mean, your defense, is this one thing. But I think that's a bit more telling that, like, that's basically saying if you get the Ravens in the red zone, it's only like 57% chance that they're going to convert to a touchdown. That's big to me. Um, and I think that's something that I'm going to be keeping my eyes on. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm punting on that or not. I still don't feel like the Bills have played outside of y'all. I don't really think they played good comp. They played the Jets and the freaking Dolphins. So I think that's who some people might say could be better. I know we're going to talk about the Colts a little bit later, I think. So some people might be like, oh, the Colts are 3-0 or the Chargers or whatever. I ain't really, I don't really think about them too much right now. So I guess I can say yeah. I'll stick with y'all for now.
Yeah. Um, I mean, whenever Lamar Jackson is your quarterback, you got every reason in the world to be confident in where this team can go and where this team can ultimately get to slash achieve as far as the Super Bowl. I know we only have one AFC Championship appearance in Lamar Jackson's tenure, but this team, on paper at least, was supposed to have the best secondary. It was supposed to be stopping opposing offenses and limiting them, especially in the run game. The Ravens always have a good rush defense, and right now, as we just saw, the Lions emerge for like 254 rushing yards, the most in the Ravens history. I believe it was 254, most of Ravens history. It's insane. The secondary is giving up anything that opposing offenses wanted. St. Brown had a lot of success. JMO had success in the passing game. Laporta had a couple of catches as well. And after that, and also Jared Goff was just comfortable all throughout the whole entire game. So, um, only thing that I'm disappointed about is that the defense is starting off the same way this year as it did last season, and that was not supposed to be the case because we drafted guys like Malachi Starks. We added guys like Awuzie. We added guys like Jair, who only played game one, by the way, but as we're trying to get him up to speed. And also drafted guys like Mike Green, who has not been impactful through 3 games as well either. Now we are playing with Amadabike and Cal Van Noy. At least for the next couple of weeks, we don't know the status on Amadabike neck injury. But am I still confident? Yeah, sure, because I don't think anybody in the AFC, when it comes down to the playoff time, they would not be on another level than us. Like I do expect the Ravens to still make the playoffs. And say hypothetically, let's just say 16 off the top of my head, the 6 other playoff teams is the Bills, the Chargers, and let's say the Colts win their division, and we win ours. So that's 4 right there. And other teams are the Chiefs, uh, Broncos, and I will say hypothetically the Steelers. Let's just say that's the 7 teams. I don't think none of those teams, when it's all said and done, in January, will be at another level than us because I think by then we'll be clicking all cylinders. So I'm still super duper confident in the Ravens. Anything they want to do, they're gonna be able to do it, but it's gonna come down to how bad they want it. And how bad they playing. I mean, how good they're playing as a unit. And I think that's the biggest thing that they struggle with right now, and that's on display. Play calling, missed tackles, offensive line concerns, and things like that. But I think overall, when it's all said and done, week 5, week 7, week 9, week 11, things like that, the season progresses, the team will also overall improve. Same as last year, which is unfortunate because you don't want a slow start like that. When you have big goals that you're trying to achieve, you want to click on all cylinders from start to finish. That's why I like teams that come out and start hot early and get it going early. The Bills 3-0, the Chargers 3-0. And things like that. I'll stop there because I'm not putting too much into the cost being 3-0. We'll get into that in a second. So yeah, man, I'm still confident in the Ravens until like if we drop 2-5 or something like that, 1-4, then like I'm like okay. I think we got the Chiefs and then the Texans back to back, so anything is possible.
Pull
Right
up
now we
y'all
want to.
schedule if you can.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up. Let's see.
Sadie, this is not your time to make yourself sing.
Oops. All right.
Eat farmer's dog. Oh, I feel it. I
Yeah.
feel eat fresh pet.
So Chiefs, Texans, Rams. I mean, Chiefs, Texans, Rams. Yeah, it's a little
That's
tough 3 games after being 1 and
yeah,
2.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. And then you have an early buy. Ooh,
Yeah, and
and
then we want to
then
stretch.
coming off the buy,
That's where I
y'all
think it loosen up at a little bit.
loosen up a little bit. Then you go. Y'all got the Browns again in Cleveland. Minnesota could be an interesting test case, depending. I'm say this: if y'all ain't figured out how to stop the run by the time y'all play Minnesota, goddamn, Jordan Mason gonna have a field day.
Yeah, and also how Brian Flores will call up that defense
Yeah,
to give
yeah,
Lamar different looks and stuff like that. So that could be tough too.
yeah.
I don't
That,
want to overlook the Minnesota game. I just
but
don't think JJ McCarthy would have too much success. But
no,
yeah,
that's why I specifically said friggin' uh, Mason. It would be have to be a him situation. I think I would probably still win that game unless I'll say unless they start turning y'all over,
yeah,
then whatever. But I mean, after that, outside of the Minnesota game and Cleveland's defense is Cleveland's defense always, but their offense is putrid. Um, I would say y'all don't really face anything tough until y'all go to Green Bay. I know y'all and the Steelers have this very weird thing. So I don't know how that's gonna go, but like truthfully, like Steelers aside, outside of that Vikings game, and then going back against Cleveland in that defense, which I still would pick y'all to win that game. It's really y'all could make up whatever ground y'all have lost
Right.
by the time y'all play Green Bay. Because I think that's the only like legit test
Yeah.
left.
No, I 1000% agree. I would love for us to come out of this 6 games at least. Like if we 4-2, I'm smiling. If we 3-3, I'm like, all right, because I know the next is pretty fairly easy. But if we 2-4, I ain't too mad, but I'll be upset, and I'll just leave it at that. To be honest, so I'm still confident. We still confident, and we'll see how the Ravens handle the rest of their season. Really starting this weekend with the Chiefs. You coming off of two two losses in the first 3 weeks that you should have won both games, especially the Bills game and the Lions game. We had a bad Derrick Henry fumble, and we was up 21-14. They came back and scored out of halftime, and we just didn't convert on some things that we could have converted on. So that's that. But you did mention the Colts. I did mention the Colts. We have two teams that we can probably say probably off the surprise starts. They're both 3-0. And I do want to have a question for you. We have the Colts and 49ers who both starting off the season 3-0. Do you look at those teams now as teams that are going to win their division and or probably win a playoff game when it's all said and done if they make the playoffs? Or how are you feeling about that right now with their 3-0 starts?
I'd say I have the Colts winning their division just because I think their division is terrible. Especially with the Texans starting off 0-3. I that was the only I mean, that's who I thought was gonna win the division. I can't even say it yet. That was the only competition. That's who I thought they were gonna get who's gonna win the division. Um it doesn't look like that's gonna happen. I don't expect Jacksonville to get it together. As much as I like what I've been seeing from Cam Ward, Tennessee, I'm not really worried about. So I think they win the division. Win their playoff game. That depends. I
Yeah.
think they have a really good defense. I think the complement of weapons that they have on offense, from JT to Tyler Warren, who's having a great season, had a little bit of a slow game last game, but was having a great season as a rookie tight end. It seems like they've been able to really use like Michael Pittman Jr. and Alec Pierce the way that they wanted to. Josh Downs is always around, he's never too far. So I feel like they have a really good complement of pieces. I mean, and not to forget their O line is one of the best O lines in the friggin' league. The question will always come down to Daniel Jones. Will we see Daniel Jones? Will we see a defensive coordinator be able to speed up Daniel Jones the way that we've seen him be sped up before and force him into mistakes? As of now, we have not seen it. I think their defenses can you know, do a lot to help them. So I can say I could see them winning a playoff game. Let me say that. I could see them winning a playoff game, especially if it's against a team like us, like the Steelers. Like I could see them, giving
Hmm.
like that team some fits. The Niners, on the other hand, they're 3-0. That's cool. You know my motto though. All 3-0s are not built the same. They do not feel the same. And though I know we're Niners fans, oh, we're getting Purdy back. Oh, we're getting Ayuk back. Oh, we're getting blah, blah, blah. What you did lose is Nick Bosa for the season. That's what you did lose. Now, granted, you still have Fred Warner. You still have your defense, which has played well. So cool. But I think if I think about the teams that they could face in the playoffs on the NFC side, I don't know. Like I don't know if I would
You think they
choose.
win their division?
Nah, I'm high on the Rams.
Mm,
I'm high on the
mm,
Rams. Could they
yeah,
be a wild card? Yeah.
yeah.
Um, but I'll think of it like this. The AFC has a lot more talent, I would say, spread across. The NFC is top heavy, but it's just top heavy enough for all those teams to be in the playoffs.
Hmm.
Like the Lions, the Eagles, the Bucks. the Rams, the Niners to an extent, whatever other team, the Packers. I know I was forgetting a team. Like they're just top heavy enough to where all their top teams make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And like it's good comp. It's not like they're bad.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's just kind of like, no, I don't think you're going to win your division. That means depending on your matchup, you could be facing the Lions. You could be facing the Eagles. You, you might have to face your own Rams again. Who knows? And I think if those teams continue to perform the way that they've been performing and continue to look the way that they have looked, no, I don't think so. I don't think they win a playoff game. I don't think they win their division.
Mm. That damn. Mm. Okay, well, I will say this. I don't think the 49ers win the division. So your point after everything that you said after that makes complete sense because they can run into the Rams, the Eagles, the Packers, whoever, the Lions, whoever ends up winning that division. They can run into any of them teams. Um, so yes, I don't think they win their division because I am higher on the Rams myself as well. I do want to credit the 49ers for their start this year. Robert Saleh coming back. He has that defense playing well. Nick Bosa is obviously going to be a big loss, but I think the defense will be able to hold their own still. Obviously, you can't replicate what Nick brings to a team, but I still think scheme wise, they'll still be okay. On the offensive side, CMC is off to a phenomenal start. They won 2 games with Mac Jones. Rowan Jennings been banged up. George Kittle hamstring. IU on the verge coming back soon. So a lot of reinforcements are going to be coming back. And I think the offense will be just as good throughout this season as they've been in previous years as well. So it's really just tough because I feel like a lot of teams caught up to where the Niners were. At one point in time, it was viewed, to me at least, like the Eagles, Niners, then Cowboys, and now Cowboys are a step back. The Niners are not a step. I wouldn't personally say the Niners are a step back yet because I have not seen them healthy in 2 years. But I do want to say the Packers are damn good. The Lions now are damn good. The Rams are now, but they was damn good a couple of years ago too. But now they're like back to that level again with the young guy that they drafted last year, and even them getting better this year, Byron Young and more. So, uh, I mean, yeah, I agree. I don't think the 49ers win the division. And if all stands put, they have to play one of them teams, they probably don't win a playoff game. But on the opposite side, I really had the Texans winning the AFC South. They let me down. I probably will stand firmly and say, yeah, I think the Colts win it. It's tough for the Titans. Well, I don't think the Titans win at all anyway, but it's tough for the Titans and Texans both 0-3 to try to sort of kind of come back and win that division unless you go on a major win streak. Mainly, I'm pointing to the Texans with that. And I just don't think that they're going to have the offense that you spoke on earlier to be able to do that this season, personally, in my opinion. And then the Jaguars, I'm just not believing in them. I think they're 2-1. They might be 2-1 now, but I'm just not believing in what the Jaguars can do for the full course of a season. I think they still got things to figure out with Trevor Lawrence and BTJ connection, how they're going to utilize Travis Hunter offensively and defensively. I think they're still struggling with that. And that's things you get better with during the season, but I just don't think they're going to have the team that could ultimately probably win that division. So I think the Colts win the division, but I just don't know if I can say like, because again, say they play the Chiefs. Like I'm more confident. I will say this. I don't think the Colts win a playoff game this year. I don't think neither team win a playoff game this year. I'll put it like that because I think the Colts can run into a team that's in that wild card spot that's like whoever don't win that division, they can run into the Chiefs and or Broncos. I got both of those teams making the playoffs. They can play either one of them teams. And if say hypothetically the Broncos win the division, okay, then you run into the Chargers and the Chiefs. Say hypothetically the Chiefs going to win the division, you run into the Chargers or the Broncos. If it falls like that, so I probably and like they could probably end up playing the Steelers if it's the Steelers, but I'll probably go out and firmly say I don't think neither of these teams win a playoff game. I do think they're both off to really good starts this year, but I think I'll leave it at that. So yeah, that's how I word it. That's how we're no Colts, no 49ers win the playoff game, but I do appreciate a phenomenal start that both of you guys are off. Real quick, if you made it this far into the episode, do not forget to hit the like button, hit that thumbs up button for me. Also, do not forget to subscribe. And also, like Ari stated earlier, check out the Fact and Stats Daily Sports Show Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and also
Outside of
Sundays.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah, most likely outside of Wednesday, at least going forward. I was thinking about letting y'all know that earlier, to be honest, because it's like I'm probably gonna be working every single Wednesday, damn near at 9 a.m. So, yeah, if I can't do Wednesday, I will. But if I can't, I always will tweet it out on the Twitter page or X page at Fact and Stats underscore, letting you all know that I'm canceling the show today. So Monday through Friday, as of right now, 11 a.m. Eastern time, and then Sundays 11 a.m. Eastern time. I do have a couple more questions for you before we wrap up this episode today. I want to show some teams and or players some love with some of the performances. Like who would you shout out and say like they're standing out to you so far? Like, or they, your eye is like, okay, I'm watching them for the rest of this year. Like they're off to a great start. They're doing X, Y, and Z. They're making this catch, they're getting this interception, this sack, whatever. Who would you say is standing out to you so far this season?
My offensive rookie of the year pick, Emeka Abuka. Kind of crazy that I'm praising a player on a team in my division, but we ain't got static with them niggas like that. But Emeka Abuka, I told people when they drafted that nigga, I was incredibly upset. Because I was like, ain't no way we let them get another. Like, think about it. They got Mike Evans. They have Chris Godwin. Two players when, if healthy, that's like a duo. That's like
Yeah,
one of the most dynamic wide receiver duos in the league. And then you add in a guy like a Mecca Buka with a guy like Baker, who's gonna get his wide receivers the ball. I mean, we've seen it. Sterling Shepard had his moments last year. Jalen McMillan had his moments to the point where people were having him on their draft boards, on their fantasy draft boards, before he got hurt in the off season. You know the ball's going to get spread around. They never have a problem giving their receivers the ball, no matter how many receivers that it is. He's a talented guy. Coming into the season, we knew Chris Godwin was going to be hurt, so there was a really big opportunity for him to show what he had as a wide receiver too. While Mike Evans has been healthy, and has he showed out? Like he, every game, I feel like I'm seeing a clip of like, dang, that nigga did that.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
Emeka Buka, great start to his rookie season. I know, and the crazy thing is, he went crazy this past game, and he was on a snap count because he got the lower body, the hip and the leg issue.
yeah.
Like, come on, bro. Like he's been going crazy. So Emeka Buka is like my number one person. Anybody on defense? Anybody on I'm trying to think if there's anybody on the defense I didn't expect to do good.
I don't even know if I have anybody on defense side my damn self. So while you're thinking, because I don't even think I got one. While you're
Okay.
thinking though, I do want to shout out and this player, like they had a decent season last year, but it wasn't propped up in a light because of how I would say terrible slash bad their rookie season was, and even their sophomore year. And it's mainly with like the drops, a lot of drop passes and things like that. Now, second year he
Mm.
did score more touchdowns. I will say that, but this year he's off to a start to where like he can come into himself even more. And that's Quentin Johnson in LA. I think Quentin Johnson he has 3 touchdowns through 3 games. He's leading the team in receiving yards. Looked like his connection with Herbert where it needs to be. Looks like him, Keenan, they all helping out Lad as well. All three of those guys work well together. Lad is yet to get into the end zone yet, but I do want to stand out. I do want to say Quentin Johnson is definitely standing out to me so far this season. And he's definitely a guy that I keep my eye on and see how he continues to improve this season and how he's making himself available for his quarterback and ultimately continue to get into the end zone. 8 touchdowns last year, 3 touchdowns already through 3 games, and leading the team in receiving yards. So I want to see if he goes for 1,000 yards this year, and I want to see he replicates his touchdowns that he had last year, either 8 or more. So I wanted to give Quentin Johnson some love, and I don't think I got anybody on defense. Personally, I would say it is who I like watching impact the game. My favorite position is safeties. I like seeing Brian Branch play football, and I just got to see him head
Yeah,
up. Yeah, literally
yeah.
against my team. So Brian Branch, I guess he's standing out. He's holding down his own in that Detroit defensive team for that defense that Detroit defense. So I say Brian Branch is standing out to me, but that's a guy I'm high on already in general. So I like watching Brian Branch play football.
I'll say this. Another guy from Detroit. This past game was his biggest game, I think, since he's been back. And also, people had some questions about him to see after the injury, was he going to be able to be, whatever. Aiden Hutchinson, man, he
Yeah.
had a day. He had a day versus y'all. And I think that was something that he needed to show himself, like, oh, okay, I still got it. It's not over for me yet. I can still, play to the level of which I was playing before I got hurt and play to the level of which people expect for me to play, which is my talent level. So Aiden Hutchinson, I was really happy to see. I mean, this might sound a little sucky, but like I was really happy to see him, have the game that he was able to have, especially against uh, you know, a team like y'all. Like obviously I know y'all's O line has left a lot to be desired. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
But I was happy to see him be able to move as quickly as he was able to, be as disruptive as he was able to. I really like watching smart players, and you can tell he's a smart player. Like he's not just I'm big, I'm fast, I'm tough. Let me go hit something. Like you can tell he's smart. Like he thinks about it, and that is one of my favorite things to see in a player, especially a defensive player. So I'll shout out Aiden Hutchinson. I will say I do have a defensive disappointment, and it's a unit disappointment, and that is the Giants D line.
Mm,
People, once they drafted Abdul Carter, they had Dexter Lawrence already. They were thinking, oh my gosh, Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, who had a better season last year, had one of his best seasons of his career last year. For him, and then and Brian Branch, who people had hoped would be better. It's just not. It's not what people thought it would be. It's not what I thought it would be. Um, I definitely thought they would be more disruptive. Thought they'd be able to get more pressures. Thought they would be able to get more sacks, especially thinking about some of the lines they faced recently. Um, I thought I'd be able to see more, and I haven't. Granted, it's only been 3 weeks, so maybe they just need some time. And
yeah.
maybe the expectations were too high, but it's a bit of a. I wouldn't. I'll take back the word disappointment. It's a bit of a letdown. Bit of a letdown.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Giants D line. Um, who did you just? Oh, Aiden Hutchinson? I love what you said about Aiden Hutchinson for sure. 1000%. We got one more thing to talk about today. We obviously just finished recapping week 3, where we touched on a lot. We gave our insight on a lot of different things. We now get to look ahead to one more week. So before we even look to Sunday's game, we have a Thursday night football preview. We have the Seahawks versus the Cardinals. Seahawks are traveling to Arizona to play the Cardinals tomorrow, 8:15 p.m. Eastern time. And you can keep this one short, sweet, and simple. Just let me know if you got winning the game and why, and how are you feeling about these two teams at the moment.
Seattle winning. I don't have faith in the Cardinals offense, especially now that James Conner's hurt, though I'm higher on Trey Benson probably than most people. And that's very little. I mean, the injury plays a part in it, but it's also because of something that I called out after they played us. By the way, for folks that don't know, I am a Saints fan. After they played us week 1, which is the Cardinals offense falls off a cliff after the second half. After they, and truthfully, not even after the second half. I mean, after the first half. It's really outside, like once they're like 15 to 20 scripted plays are over, their offense is like non-existent. And I know people had some questions about Seattle's defense. Oh, they're dealing blah 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 blah. My team played Seattle last week, and I'm here to say their defense is disruptive, and I feel like they're going to be able to do that. Unfortunately, Kyler doesn't look like he's synced up with Marv at all.
Mhm.
So to me, that just leaves their offense to be extremely one-dimensional. And JSN is having a hell of a year. K9 had a hell of a week last week. I know if you bet on his yards, not the best, but he's going to score some touchdowns, and he's still looking to form. And I think Charbonnet might be back this week as well. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he's questionable. He's questionable. Yeah, but part of yeah.
yeah,
So, who do you have winning? I don't know if you said the Seahawks.
yeah, Seattle.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I'm leaning Seattle on the road as well. My damn self. I saw an interesting thing today. I think Seattle allowing a lot of uh yardage or fantasy points to tight end. So we may see a Trey McBride have some success. He actually got into the end zone last week, which he typically does not score too often. Devon Witherspoon is returning for Seattle, but I think Mike will call a good game overall for them. And I think you'll see guys like JSN, who's actually I think leading the league in receiving yards right now, continue to emerge and make a name for himself this season. You'll see if Zach does play tomorrow. You'll see K9 and Zach both have a lot of success on the ground game, and I'm probably going to lean with Seattle getting this game as well to move to 3-1 on the season. The Cardinals, I get the second half thing that you said. especially watching that Panthers game. Even watching y'all game coming down to the wire, and you know what happened with that Jawan catch and whatnot. So, what could have been catch. I'll see that. So yeah, we're both going with Seattle to win this game today. To move to 3-1. I mean tomorrow to move to 3-1 on the season. And then outside of Thursday's game, what are some matchups that you would say you are looking ahead to watching this Sunday? And then when you do select that matchup, and I'll probably start this one off actually. When you do select that matchup, just let me know who you have winning and why. This Sunday coming up, if I'm gonna say this, if CD Lamb got hurt, so it takes away the excitement a little bit. And I'm trying to choose something that's not the Ravens, the Chiefs. So I mean, I think I'm a sort of kind of enjoy watching that Sunday night football game, man. Micah Parsons back in Dallas. He said it's going to feel sad, you know, he eventually sacked Dak. I think Michael Parsons probably going to get off that snap count that he's been on throughout the first 3 weeks of the season. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the atmosphere and the emotions and everything like that. Like, are they going to cheer for him? Are they booing him? Or whatever the case may be. It's going to sort of kind of be like how when Luca returned back to Dallas. Like, what type of welcoming is Michael Parsons going to get back? Who pretty much, you know, gave that team all that he could, you know, and they ultimately decided to end up trading him. So I'm definitely looking forward to that Sunday night football game. And in that game, I would have the Packers winning. And I think their offense will get back and click on all cylinders versus that terrible Dallas defense. And, you know, they just played a tough opponent in Cleveland. But I think we might see Matthew going to get his first touchdown. Tucker Craft will be good in this game. The whole passing offense will be good. And I think Josh Jacobs will then also get back into the end zone as well. So I'm going with the Packers winning that game definitely by double digits probably. So that's a game I'm probably looking forward to the most watching. What would you say?
I'm also trying to go away from Chiefs and Ravens because I feel like that's like super duper obvious, especially with both teams coming in 1-2. So I'm gonna go with another obvious one: Philly versus Tampa. Primarily because Jalen Hurts does not like playing against top bowls. Top bowls loves playing against Jalen Hurts. Jalen, I want to say including the playoffs, he's 1-4 versus top bowls in the Bucks, which is big because I think that's his worst win differential. Um, Out of all of the teams that he's played, I mean, if you look at it, he and the Eagles have been pretty successful, from a win standpoint for the most part. But if you ask Eagles fans, they'll tell you, I don't really want to play the Bucks. I really
Yeah.
just you ask them why, because
Yeah.
they just got our number or something. I don't really want to play the Bucks.
Yeah.
And they're playing the Bucks. And I think it's gonna be really interesting. Um, and they're going to Tampa Bay. So this is not at the link. This is not in Lincoln Financial. You're gonna be in Raymond James in Tampa. It's probably still gonna be hot out there. So I think it'll be really interesting. You got Chris Godwin expected to return this game. You have Tristan Wirfs expected to return this game, which is a big deal for them. He's their best offensive lineman, so that's a big, big deal for them. They've been making do. The Bucks have had some scrappy games, especially obviously versus the Jets, but also with the Texans to an extent. They've had some scrappy games that they've had to fight their way through, but Baker's been Baker. I just told y'all Meko Ibuka is my winner, my leader for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And, it'll be interesting to see what Todd Bowles does versus that Eagles offense, especially if they come out the way that they did versus the Rams. It'll be interesting. That's also another thing. It'll be interesting to see what Eagles offense do we see. Do they go back to the run, 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 run? Or do they, kind of take, some lessons from what they learned versus the Rams and try and spread it out a bit more? Get AJ Brown involved, get Smitty involved, get Goddard involved to kind of open up the box for Saquon and Jalen to kind of do their things on the ground. So it'll be very interesting. And that Eagles defense, I have some eyes on right now. Just eyes on right now. So it'll be really interesting, to see who has that. Ultimately, I don't know who's gonna win. Like truthfully, it's like it's hard for me to, because if I'm going off of like the Eagles offense that I've seen this season, I don't know, man. I don't know, Jim. I don't know. But also, if I'm going off of the Eagles team that I know they can be, then yeah. But some coaches just have players' numbers. Some coaches just do, and it's hard to ignore Jalen Hurts 1-4 versus the Bucks. And I don't think he's ever won in Tampa. So you know, get a little bit
We
of a
need a
monkey.
win. Yeah, we need a winner though. I think
I
that people
don't
gonna want a winner.
know
I think that people might want a winner though. We can't end with no winner though.
why not.
This the last thing. You gotta give us a winner.
I don't know if
You gotta pick a winner. This is the last thing. You gotta give us up. They both 3-0. They playing in Tampa. This is a fun game. You looking forward to watching it? Who you got winning if you had to pick?
Ooh. I'm gonna hope that the Eagles learn from their mistakes when they go to
No, I think you said. I think on a serious note, I think you said something valid. Like, what Eagles offense is going to come out, especially because of how they had to shift their whole game plan in that second half against LA because they were down. So you can't go run. You got to speed things up. You got to get it going. And yeah, uh, Goddard,
I do
Smitty,
want to correct
AJ.
myself. One in Tampa once.
One in Tampa one. So is it still 1-4 or is it 2-4?
It's 1-4.
1-4, but he won in Tampa. Okay,
One in
yeah,
Tampa once. They've lost the other time. All the other
definitely a
times.
game I'm looking forward to worth watching. You already shout out Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs coming back. I do want to say before we get up out of here, prayers up and speedy recovery to James Conner, to Najee Harris, to Austin Eckler, some of the running backs on top of my head that's not out for the season. Mike Evans, speedy recovery with your hamstring injury. Chris Godwin, welcome back. Should be returning this Sunday. He was a full participant in practice today. And then I wanted to say,
See his
oh,
name?
Nick
Did you say
Bosa.
C?
Nick Bosa, welcome back. Speedy recovery as well. And who you was about to say?
CD.
Oh, CD Lamb. Yes,
Yeah.
that's that's
Lots of
just so.
injuries. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's just so. The CD that's just so terrible for that Cowboys team in that offense. I don't even know what they're going to look like now, to be honest. But yeah, speedy
I mean,
recovery
George
there as well.
Pickens seasons, he want the ball, so you about to get it, bud.
Yeah, or maybe he continues to flood Jake Ferguson. So I mean, that'd be a
I
good thing
mean,
for me at least.
fingers crossed. I
Yeah, I
hope.
mean, but listen, everybody, thank y'all so much for tapping to this episode. Today's episode 114. Do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and tell a friend, tell a friend. You have Ev and Ari here with another one, and we'll be right back here next week with another podcast episode for you all, recapping week 4 and also previewing week 5. So thank y'all so much. You got anything to say to the people?
No, tune into Facts and Stats Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
All right, y'all.